You can't have that. That's mine. You give that back to me right now. I am not going to share with you. And I don't have to. No one is going to make me. Welcome to Paint a Beautiful Picture. When we hear that out of a 2 or a 3-year-old, it doesn't sound very good, it doesn't look very nice, and we work at correcting it. When that kind of an attitude comes out of a 20 or a 30 or a 40-something-year-old, it's downright ugly. Today on Paint a Beautiful Picture, we're going to talk about sharing is caring. We all understand from the time we're little and we hear it in kindergarten that we should share nicely. But that doesn't mean we're any good at it, and it doesn't mean we like it. When you have a 2-year-old and they're playing with somebody and there is a whole entire box of crayons, I remember this very clearly, that we got a box with 64 colors in it, which was astounding because usually we had to play with the 8 basic colors that came in the big fat box from kindergarten. When we got that box, we fought like crazy. My brothers and sisters and I fought so hard over that box of crayons. More than half of them were broken just in fights and arguments about who got to use what color when. I have seen it many, many times as I taught school and as I worked as a teacher's assistant. Kids would say, I want that color right there, the one in your hand. The one in their hand isn't any good at all. They want that color, probably because you have it. I've even had a 7-year-old look at another kid and say, you know you're supposed to share. Now give that to me. Oh, wow. It is really funny, but not so much, actually. We do not share naturally as human beings. We tend to be incredibly selfish. And we need to lay down the principle in our children's life that sharing is a vitally and important skill. And how you do that is by sharing with your kids. So if you have a particular necklace or a particular tool that no one is ever supposed to touch or go near, you might say one day to your little one as you're playing dress up, how would you like to wear my necklace? Mommy, I know you never ever share that with anybody. That's your very favorite, and it's expensive, and you told me many times to leave it alone. I know, but today I think you should wear it while we play. So you're in a very safe environment. You can let your little girl wear that, do okay with it, put it back where it goes, and say, now this is not for all the time. Today was special. And they will understand that, and they'll know how important that was that you shared with them. When you're out working on your motorcycle and your son comes along and he goes, Dad, look at this. My chain is messed up and my bike's all ruined and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And you say, all right, well, you know my really good socket set? I know, Dad, I'm not supposed to touch that. Yeah, that's what we need, though. Go get it for me. Bring it here and let your child use what is so important to you and so valuable to you. They understand, okay, my parents are willing to share with me even their most expensive, most protected things at the right time. They'll share with me. Then, when you go somewhere and you say to them, did you notice that that little boy over there, he didn't really have much to eat. He just had one little cheeseburger. He didn't get all the other things. Maybe they don't have as much. And you might say, how would you like to share something with them? And you could go over there with them to the table and say, you know, my family would really like to buy you guys an ice cream for dessert. Is that okay? Would that be okay? And let your child help carry it back to the table and understand the great value of sharing. At times around the holidays, I've gotten offers where you could buy a couple of chickens or a goat or sometimes even a cow for a family in Africa. And so that is what I've given to my children and my grandchildren at various points for their Christmas present, a cow or a goat given in their name to a family in Africa that actually provides them something to sustain them for years. And my children and my grandchildren understand the value of that. So I'm literally caring for someone else in their name to honor them. When kids are little, you need to tell them, do you know how many toys you have? Hundreds. So many you can't even find what you're looking for in the toy box half the time. And on the toy shelves, it's so crowded. And so we're going to take 1/3 of your toys. That means one out of every three of your toys you're going to take out of your room, and we're going to share it with someone who doesn't have as much as we have. I suggest to you that you give those to things like family violence or domestic violence shelters, where those kids literally leave their homes, sometimes never go back again, and have nothing. And the mom is poor and dejected and often so beaten down it's going to take her some time to get on her feet. And those kids love things like that. You can donate them to a child development center if they really are in amazingly good shape, especially in an underprivileged part of town. There are a lot of places that you can give things and let your child understand the advantage and the joy of sharing with someone else who doesn't have nearly as much as they have. Another area that I think sharing is caring is really important for your child is with their own siblings. We all have our own personal belongings. Say, when I was a kid, I got an Etch-a-Sketch from one of my aunts for Christmas. I didn't want anyone else touching it. And especially not my brother, who was kind of careless with his own things. I didn't want him breaking my Etch-a-Sketch. But he begged me and he relentlessly bothered me and he was obnoxious about it. And I finally said, sure, you can play with it, but only right here by me. And I was pretty selfish about that. Somewhere in there is balance with your child. They have this really treasured toy, something that's really important. They don't have to give it away or share it with everybody in the world, especially if they have a friend who's careless and renowned for breaking stuff. Certainly not with something that took you months and months to save up and buy. Like when I had to buy my kids a bike, I didn't have to. When I loved buying my kids a bike, but it cost me a lot. I had to save a long time. I didn't want them to just let any Tom, Dick, or Harry drive it, ride it, act stupid with it. So there's a balance in here, but ultimately they need to understand there is great joy, and it is really actually fun to be able to share with someone else. One of the great things that is great to share is our hearts and beautiful moments, great experiences. If you are so busy that you're grabbing it here and there 5 minutes or 10 minutes and you're calling that quality time, I just want to look at you and say to you, what a bunch of bunk. You need to be spending at least 2 to 4 hours every week, specifically, intentionally with your children, sharing your heart, your thoughts, your ideas, and listening to them as they share theirs with you. Because sharing really is caring. Also, you want to share great moments. That means whether it's a trip to Six Flags, the art museum, going to the video arcade and playing foosball and other crazy interactive games, going bowling. My kids used to really like to go midnight bowling or roller skating. You need to find a time, an activity, a special thing to share with your kids. And don't be yelling at them the whole time you're there. You're not doing this right. You shouldn't do that. I didn't really want to look at this. Really intentionally share the wonder and the beauty of those moments, the fun, the excitement, the discovery, all of that with them, and help your child develop the sense that sharing is caring. My question for you today is this: how good are you at sharing? Are you selfish with all your time? Honey, don't bug me. I'm watching this TV show. And it's really important, but you don't want to hear it because you're all about you and what you want to do and what you want to see. Are you really caring enough to let them share with you? Because sharing really is caring. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will look forward to seeing you again soon. You may find additional information on our paintabeautifulpicture.com website. Additionally, you may watch me on Rumble, and you may also listen to a podcast on Buzzsprout or Spreaker, all under the name Paint a Beautiful Picture. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You may subscribe, and if you are interested in receiving notifications, please hit the notifications button.